What's up, YouTube? My name is Jason, and this is my take. And I'm back with another video, and today we're gonna do an end-of-month quick reviews for April. And in these videos, I run through a list of albums that I didn't get to do full reviews for April. A few of these dropped in March as well, but we got about 8 or 9 albums here that I wanted to just give my quick thoughts on. There was a lot of music, of course, that dropped this month, a lot of solid projects. Some of them I was really wrestling with if I wanted to do a full review for, but here are some of the albums and my thoughts. The first is the new Nigo album, I Know Nigo. Now, Nigo is a producer, entrepreneur, as well as a fashion designer. He's behind B.I.B.L.E, and when it comes to the people who were featured on this album, whether it's Pusha T, Pharrell, Tyler, the Creator, different people, like, I understood the connection and how a lot of them are connected to Nigo. But this was a cool project. It featured a lot of Pharrell production. We had A$AP on here, Tyler, the Creator, Pusha T, as I mentioned. And it was a cool collection of tracks, honestly. Honestly, seeing each of these artists in a zone that they're already comfortable in. I didn't hear anything surprising from a specific artist. Also, Hear Me Clearly from It's Almost Dry on Pusha T's album was actually on this record as well. I was seeing something that Nigo really wanted Pusha to put it on the project, even though he already had it set for his release. This was a cool project, nothing that blew me away, anything crazy, but I actually enjoyed it. Next, we have the new Fivio foreign album, B.I.B.L.E. Now, Fivio is a guy who I've heard on a lot of features on different things, and I've always enjoyed it from his stuff with Kanye, Pop Smoke, and on this album, I really was impressed. I wanted to hear him not only on that New York drill sound that he's on, but also over some different types of trap production, and I got that on here. I think that he has a great voice, like he really knows how to ride a beat. Mesh well with a lot of different features such as Chloe, Coi Leray, A$AP Rocky, Kanye West, Alicia Keys. Like, this from top to bottom was a pretty cohesive listen. I didn't need that DJ Khaled track, but it's there. But big ups to Fivio Foreign. Like I said, I've been becoming a fan of him from just his feature stuff. But with the album like this, I know that in the future he'll continue to put out solid projects. Next is Coi Leray's debut album, Trendsetter. And honestly, like, I didn't have high expectations for this, but I was like rooting for this to be a good project. I think that Coi Leray gets a lot of like flack, like especially with those like concerts or stuff where people aren't really engaged or moving. I think that she's had some solid tracks, some solid singles, and unfortunately, I don't think that it came together for the best album here. I will say I found myself like really just underwhelmed and bored throughout the project. There was some good moments here or there. I found that some of the singles that she released before this, like, I like how they sounded in the album, but they were just like a few of like really strong highlights in my opinion. So that was disappointing, and the 9,000 like flop that happened first week, like, I definitely like am rooting for her, but this album didn't really do it for me. Next is the collab project between 42 Dugg and ESG, Last Ones Left. And this is like my introduction to like full projects from either of the two, but I like this. I like this. 42 Dugg especially is really starting to grow on me. I wasn't the biggest fan initially when he first came out. But I like how he sounded on here. ESTG as well. Like, these two fit very well together. I like how they had their own little moments, their own tracks. They brought in some of their own people. Like, there was like a 42 like Mike maybe or something, and they're like ESTG, like 2 other like EST artists. So I think as a whole, this came together. Like, nothing conceptual or anything crazy about it, but just bangers on bangers. Next is the Camilla Cabello project, Familia. And honestly, like, I came across this. I wanted to give it a listen. I never listened to an album by her. Of course, I've heard songs, and she's clearly talented, but nothing that's, had me like at the edge of my seat or just like had me a fan. So after listening to this, like, it's cool. Honestly, it's pretty generic in terms of the sound and its pop elements. so nothing crazy going on. She did have some solid performances in there, especially vocally. Like you know, like no one is questioning the talent and the ability of Camilla, but just as a whole, I didn't come away from this move. Next is a collab project between Wiz Khalifa, Smoke DZA, Big K.R.I.T, and Girl Talk, who's a producer, and this is called Full Court Press. Now, I don't know in what world I would like imagine like a collab between Wiz, K.R.I.T, and Smoke DZA, but this is one of the best rap albums I've heard this year. And the thing is, it's not taking itself seriously at all. This is like a bouncy, like chill, like wavy, like good time here. Like a mixture of like, it's like a chill trap, like soulful, like type of vibe. Like it has its like melodic, like soulful moments, but like a lot of times it's mixed in with elements of trap. And I think that this is a great project. This was a great listen. I think that all three rappers like had their moments. Big K.R.I.T, like I loved his energy. I love that southern, infusion here. Wiz Khalifa had perfect production to get into his usual subject matter. And Smoke DZA, like I really liked his role in this and his rapping. I just really never would have thought I would have seen these three get together, but like it all makes sense now. So you guys should definitely check this out if you haven't. Next is the new Redveil album, Learn to Swim. Now I first came across him with his last album, Niagara, and that was all I needed to become a fan of his work. Very dusty, dirty sample music in here, like very lo-fi, boom bapish at times, elements of trap as well. And it really gave off like Earl vibes, but it was like Earl Sweatshirt, but like a lot more soulful and a lot more like groovier at times. Like I really like how this project flowed and how it bounced. And honestly, his new project over here, Learn to Swim, is better. Like this is a step up in my opinion. There's like a little step up in quality. Like I thought he was gonna kind of stay with that dirty, like rough, like sound in a way, but like while it's still here, like he kind of takes it up when it comes to quality and the mixing of this thing. From a rapping and singing perspective, he elevates once again, really diving into some topics. The features on here were great. Like honestly, if you're into like Earl Sweatshirt, Mavi, Mike as well, like definitely give this guy a try, because it's a reason like people are starting to talk about him. I've been seeing a lot of conversation about it. He's really talented and I'm a fan. Next is the new Fana Hues album, Flora and Fana. And her last album, Hues, was my introduction to her. And I came out of that just really remembering how beautiful her voice was. And what disappointed me was the album as a whole didn't do it for me, but just the sheer talent and her voice really stuck with me. And on this new album over here, it all came together how I would have wanted it to. Very, very smooth production, and it blends perfectly with Fana and her performances and her delivery. Honestly, if you look at the album cover, like the album feels like what the cover looks like. And lastly, the new Action Bronson album, Cocodrillo Turbo. And this album like just dropped, like it just came out, but I had to give it a listen. Action Bronson is one of those guys that I always listen to. Like I really am a fan of his work beyond like the Mr. Wonderful, like his big like solo debut that I didn't like. He's come through, whether it's Blue Chip 7000, Lambs Over Rice with The Alchemist, his most recent project, Only for Dolphins, which might be my favorite. But on this new one over here, once again, like Action Bronson coming through, spitting those like funny, like silky smooth raps over like this great boom bap production. We get Alchemist on here. They team up once again on some tracks. Jaws and Jaguar were like two of my favorites on here. And Action Bronson is just doing what he does, man. Like I'm glad I'm getting to a point where even though he like really sounds like Ghostface, like I can like not really be thinking about that when I'm listening to Action's music. Like he puts out such good quality music that like he's really separated himself when it comes to just his own rapper self. I don't think about Ghostface as much. Like it was hard for me not to when I like first got into his music. But Action Bronson, man, one of the best in the underground. Another great project, and you guys should definitely give it a try. So what were you guys' thoughts on the albums on this list? Were there any that I missed? Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to another week of Jason's Take. Got more videos coming next week, man. We got Jack Harlow dropping, LMA is dropping. I might do a kind of late review of Kalani's new album, but we'll have to see. But thanks again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jason. This has been my take. I'll see you next time.